Opening my tea party just for you. Who is that? It's Ririna, the so-called anime enthusiast fox. It's time to check out Arknights EP Awaken. Now, I don't really know anything about this or any context, so I'm just going into this blind. I guess we'll just get started. Oh. Oh. Let's see who it is. Safe Shore. Oh, she's... Gosh, who is she again? She's from Arknights, right? Or is it a different one? The one that reminds me of like a pirate. This song reminds me of Mulan, like the songs in there. Very Disney-esque, I suppose. It also reminds me of those types of music that pirates sing. I forgot what the exact term was, so if you do know what that term is, please let me know down below. Please educate me. Oh, that's beautiful.
Find the break, water warm, keep it calm, be afraid to rattle the cage. Take a risk, take a dive, take it down, suddenly surrender, take back everything. From the open shore
I can just imagine a movie, a Disney movie, or at least in that style, where she's like walking and singing. Ooh, is there something dark inside? Something dangerous? The choice of instruments, like the drums, the strings, the way that they're singing, it's like I'm listening to a musical almost, and I can actually imagine and see the background as she's singing this.
Lost in ecstasy.
Except, I guess Shu is not the one that's actually singing, right? Or is it the actual VA? Fantasy breaking you?
From the open shore I will learn to fly, soaring past the great divide. Voices that surface seem to call out all the lies.
I can't remember if it's her that appeared in the Rainy Nights event, or if it was someone else. I think maybe it was someone else actually. But they kind of have similar vibes, like the way they look and the way that they carry themselves in some ways. Like the danger, powerful aspect of their design. But also this music, it's very much the focus is very much on the vocals. That's why I said that it's kind of like a musical, a much more calmer part right now.
There's a hidden door on the ocean floor. Do these dreams belong to me? If it calls my name, am I awakening?
Oh, that's so beautiful. The softness of the voice and the minimal use of instruments. That was really pretty. So I do want to go back to the beginning, play a little bit at a time, and discuss more of the details. The first time around is mostly just so that I can get used to the music, and that way I won't be as distracted when I'm actually looking and analyzing the various parts of the music itself. So I do want to note a few things before I start though. It's very much apparent that the character who they're showing is the main focus, mostly because the vocals are very loud in comparison to the rest of the instruments. And that aspect tends to remind me of one, Disney movies, and two, musicals. Because I find that musicals also have a huge focus on having the character express themselves with their singing and with their movements, but mostly their singing, especially since those who are in the way back can't see as well as the people in the front. So the voice really does matter, like the way that they speak, or actually more like the way that they sing, the more that the tone that they use when they're singing, that really makes a huge difference in understanding what's going on in the musical, especially for those in the back. And so I feel like this one is very much close to not just Disney movies, but also musicals, because even if there's a lot of instruments going on in the beginning and the middle, except for the end, which is a lot more silent, there is, like, you can clearly hear the voice, the vocals, what they're saying or singing in this case, not really saying, but singing. And because of that, there is no change until the end, where it's a lot quieter with the instruments, but you can still hear the vocals very well from the beginning to the end. There's a lot of music where the vocals are decently, like, you can hear it, but the instruments are still loud enough so it feels more like a balance rather than an imbalance, if that makes sense. And I enjoyed the fact that the instruments didn't cause so much chaos when listening. Instead, they actually appropriately lifted the vocals so that you can hear everything much clearer. So now I do want to focus more on little bits of it as I go through the video again, but let's go. So this beginning part, that part, it gives you like this creepy horror vibe. And I believe they're playing the violin, and it's very much close to the bridge, which is like that wooden little thingy that the strings are over. And that causes like a scratchy, like really uncomfortable noise. And especially if they're playing loud. Well, actually, maybe not. It could just be that they're just moving their bow really fast to create that sound. But it is easier to make that noise when you're closer to the bridge, but also makes it louder, so maybe not. Unless they have really good bow control, which I'm sure they do since it's professionals that are recording this. But usually that type of technique is used to create a more creepy and intense and high tension moment, or building up to that. You can particularly find that in like horror movies when something bad is going to happen, but you don't see what's going to happen yet, but you're very close to that moment. So I'm kind of getting that feeling here. So I do wonder if this character in particular is very scary, like almost like a nightmare or a horror movie villain almost. I'm not sure what this character is like in particular though, so I'm just pretty much guessing, since I'm not sure if it's the same character as the one that was in that one event. I'm really bad with names, okay? So, and I only saw her like once a while back, so my memory is kind of fuzzy at this point when it comes to her. I've only seen her once, I think. Once in the trailers and then once in maybe the event, if I am right. Please let me know if I'm right. But the feeling I am getting from this in the beginning is that they have either their first impression is someone scary or some kind of disturbance in their mind. So now we have more of this epic feel. Maybe because they're really powerful. That's just my guess though. Of course, I can be totally wrong during my entire analysis, but that's what's fun, right? And so I do feel like this boom, boom, this really loud, strong sound after that creepy buildup is showing how powerful she is. And clearly open oceans, when we think of oceans and crushing those words, that sounds powerful. I don't know if she has like a water ability or something, but clearly she's strong. And there we go. Ghost ships sinking, mothers, daughters. Like when you think of that, you might think of, you know, like the typical like pirate type of movie, the ones that have to do with sailing in the seas, that kind of music and that kind of vibe. But also it brings about and solidifies the idea that this person, this operator or character is actually a pretty scary person. I mean, after all, who would want to see a ghost ship, right? And it's kind of scary. But it also indicates that this character might be quite lonely or alone. But because their presence is so powerful and so big that people might not suspect that loneliness.
Holding a paper while building a dam, they are flooding circuits to find who I am.
So that's another thing, and I do want to go back a little bit more just to confirm what I saw. Okay, so up to this point, they had a more of like an epic choir type of thing, and then at this specific moment, I think it was just the violin. Let me double check.
Holding a paper while building a dam, they are flooding circuits.
So it's like very minimal use of instruments to highlight the voice, to show that it's her point of view that is talking, or I guess singing in this case, which is why I asked if it was the voice actress that is singing this, or if it's, you know, just regular normal singer who is just singing in her point of view, which is probably the case. But you know, I just like to confirm, you know, because sometimes voice actors sing the songs themselves. But in any case, it does show her displeasure about the dam, that they're flooding the circuit, and clearly people are trying to understand who she is, or what she is, maybe, potentially because she is very powerful and scary to normal people. But the act of them investigating her seems to quite irritate her, interestingly.
I am, make a list, write it down in time. Sometimes we need it all, sometimes resign to a world where the center is never aligned. Make a move, take it back, it's mine.
So this line, make a move, take it back, it's mine, and her observations of what the people are doing, she's indicating that they can't touch what's hers. What she claims is hers and hers only. She will not let people take what she considers as hers, nor will she let them do what they want. She's a very powerful character from the perspective of the lines and from the point of view that we're seeing right now. I don't know if she's a calm character or if she is the crazy outburst type of character. I'm not really sure about that. But so far I'm seeing more of a calming attitude that coldly observes what's going on and then makes it very clear decisively on what she wants and what she will do if you go past the line that you shouldn't.
Gathering drops and filling the ocean. Now take every part of me, take it all and put it together like building a boat. Cheers as the horns resound. Tackles the boats who drown, carrying myself out.
Okay, so this particular part shows a very different side of her. Like, she enjoys her wins, her victories, and it seems like she doesn't mind if people enjoy it with her. But at the same time, she sounds like she wants to be alone, wants to enjoy her victory on her own and rest on her own. She's very much maybe an introvert or a loner, perhaps, or someone who just doesn't like to be around people in general. I do want to make sure that that's the case. So echoes of those who drown is what I suspected of her winning against them. And then cheers as the horns reside shows that she's celebrating her victory, and building a boat could potentially mean that she's starting the battle and is ready and readying herself to win. So dream of deep stay sleep. It's a very, this particular part has even less, I guess, instruments, but also the way that she sings is very light and feathery and so beautiful. It's to the point where it gives it a very dreamlike feeling to the whole song, which I like. Like this part, it's like a siren. Maybe that's what she is. Something like that.
Keep it calm, be afraid to rattle the cage. Take a risk, take a dive, take it down. Suddenly surrender, take back everything.
There we go. So we have the suddenly surrender, take back everything. And instead of her singing on her own, there's a bunch of other people that come in at certain times. So I wonder if at this point, it's not just her, but other people who are saying the same thing, whether it's about her or it's about something else. I'm not really sure about that, but it clearly shows that she's the one in power though, because her voice is obviously a lot louder than the ones who are singing behind her or the choir.
From the open shore I will learn to fly, soaring past the great divide. Voices that surface seem to call out all the lies. Is it still a sin if I let them in as they sail to calmer tide? I'll awaken what's asleep inside.
Okay, so this particular part, and I do want to go back a little bit. So it seems like she is hesitant here about something, whether it's letting people in or, you know, making her decision on something. I'm not really sure what it is exactly. But it seems like at this particular point, she's reached a stage where she has to make a major decision, whether it's to let people in, my assumption, or if it's to keep going. But either way, it's a very huge decision. And I wonder if the lies that they mention is her being strong and being the scary being or creepy being or horrifying being, I'm not really sure. And whether she should, you know, let those people in, the ones that potentially see the actual her inside. At least, that's my guess. And then if she does let someone in, then perhaps it means that she'll finally open up to someone and show her true self. The one that's not as scary, the one that's not as decisive and tyrannical. And this part in particular where she's singing makes her seem like she's contemplating. And then right here, she has made a decision. Actually, no, maybe it's her conflict, actually. She's still lost. Because she's still singing in the back if you can hear it.
Oh, just a memory, lost in ecstasy.
Oh, perhaps at that point, like right before this part, it could be that she made her decision and is starting to feel the results of that decision. And right here is her contemplating on that decision that she made.
Sights and sounds are forgotten and clear. Ships bells, golden rings. Fantasy breaking me. From the
Perhaps what she thought was real was actually a fantasy. And so she's saying that her decision was wrong. I think here she's contemplating back in the day when she was contemplating and Oh, that's so beautiful right there.
From the open shore I have learned to
I think at this point, she has finally let go of what happened. I'm not really sure if it's accurate in that regard, but it does feel like a logical progression where she has learned what she has learned from her decisions and the consequences of it. And that's why it says, I have learned to fly. I think in the beginning she said that she was asking if she can fly.
fly soaring past the great divide. Voices that surface seem to
And maybe in the end, the decision that she made was actually correct. She just couldn't see it at the time.
Door on the ocean floor. Do these dreams belong to me? If it calls my name,
And perhaps in some ways, this song is a reflection of what her identity is as a person. But looking at the visuals, I do think that she has reached a point where she understands what exactly she has inside of her. Like, while others around her may not know who she truly is, at least now at this point, she has seen the light of what kind of person she really is and has embraced it fully. At least that's my interpretation of the song. But overall, I do enjoy this song. It's very nostalgic in some ways. I haven't watched Disney movies in a long time, so it feels nostalgic in that sense, and also musicals as well. And I kind of hope that I can listen to more of this kind of music in the future from other games and also from this game. I'm not really sure if they do have it, but you know, it's good to know, right? But overall, yeah, I really liked this song. It was a very good one. Thank you for recommending it. I very much enjoyed it. And now, of course, as always, my kids, what do you think of today's reaction video? So I think we have pretty much gone through the song twice and have analyzed it. At least I analyzed it to the best of my abilities. I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong, but of course, isn't that always the fun, right? So let's etch this into our memory and keep it safe. And as always, from me inviting you to my next tea party, the so-called anime enthusiast fox. Who's that? This was Ririna. So until the next one then, bye!